I'm on top of Schooner Wharf Bar, which overlooks the harbor of the historic seaport. Anita and I are celebrating our 30th wedding anniversary this trip, so we decided to leave our car behind. We flew in from Miami this morning, and boy are our arms ready to lift pint glasses. We will pack in as much as we can over the next 4 days. Omitting our usual drive down and up the Keys equals our usual time spent on bar stools in Key West. We pledge to work tirelessly, visiting and revisiting blue ribbon watering holes right here. We were happy to come in the month we got married, March, to check out the airport, just before the new slick, spacious concourse with actual jetways opens up a month from now. We figured it was the last time for us to exit a plane on a ramp down to the Key West Airport tarmac. The friendly family that used to throw open their arms wide in welcome to us tourists has left the building. But the people who planned the new airport promised that next year they'd all be back inside the arrivals hall with a fresh coat of paint when the new concourse is all finished. I'll show you more of the new airport at the end of this trip. But it's reassuring to know that you can still order a beer waiting for your suitcase to appear at baggage claim. Our taxi driver, Dominic, turns from the airport drive onto Jimmy Buffett Memorial Highway and zips us 14 minutes to the Marker Resort, our favorite because of where it sits, smack in the middle of the Conch Republic Bar Nation. Our first stop for a drink after checking in at the Marker is Schooner Wharf Bar. It's not the first time we've included it in our videos, but there's no helping it because it is a bar we love above all, except for all the others. Schooner Wharf opens at 8 in the morning when barflies can drink their breakfast and closes at 2 in the morning on the following day. So it's only closed 6 hours out of every 24. Only Sloppy Joe's is open longer, 9 a.m. to 4 in the morning, so it's only closed for 5 hours. And where else can you hear, the moment you walk in, the seldom sung lyrics of the classic ballad, Let's Talk Dirty in Hawaiian.
Come on now, let's talk dirty in Hawaiian. Won't you whisper in my ear?
For those old enough to remember the CBS legendary newsman Charles Kuralt and his on-the-road travel features, he once called this saloon the center of the universe as he sipped a cocktail at the bar. We'll return here again later this trip, but it's time for lunch, and we're now leaving one of the island's most venerable bars and heading for one of its youngest. Charles Kuralt said at the end of every visit, "I can see the road is bending. Wonder what's around the bend." And a 5-minute walk around the bend from Schooner Wharf is one of Key West's newest bars called the Square Grouper. For those travelers unschooled in Florida Keys culture, a square grouper is slang for a floating bale of marijuana lost or abandoned by smugglers, which periodically wash up on shore hereabouts. The reference on the bar's website calls the Square Grouper one of the most important and prized groupers of the Florida Keys waters. Other names include bales of the scientific orders Grouper Cannabis, Plasticus, Burlapus, Weedus, Dopus, and Ganjas. In December, the Square Grouper potentates finally opened their southernmost outpost that opens at 11 in the morning. In Key West, bars and restaurants are always going bust, and new ones are always replacing them. It's the circle of life. Our friendly and erudite bartender Britt shared some history of the bar, where she now presides over the lunch crowd. The Square Grouper began gutting the old Off the Hook bar and grill a year ago after Off the Hook sold off its last artifacts. Before it was off the hook, the same building was inhabited by JDL's Big Ten Pub, and before that, PT's Late Night Bar and Grill, and in the 70s and 80s, the Big Fleet, which was a country western dive with lunchtime topless go-go dancers from noon to 6 Monday through Friday. Square Grouper, surprise, offers a Square Grouper sandwich. You may challenge with the query, where in the Keys can't you get a grouper sandwich? But we can testify this grouper sandwich is great. Anyhow, the arrival of the Square Grouper in this space included a cool design total makeover, and it has bar stools outside the bar window if you'd rather drink there. A second room in the back is home to the Raw Bar. Last time I looked, Yelp ranked this place a 4.9 out of 5. Just a heads up, when we were there, Square Grouper was closed on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and on days it is open, it closes between lunch and dinner from 3 to 5 to deep clean and update servers on what's on the evening menu. Less than a minute's walk toward the harbor, we arrive at something completely different. It is spring break at Dante's Pool Bar. We did not get carded. No offense taken. Dante's Key West Pool Bar and Restaurant is a vast swimming pool flanked by a tiki bar near the harbor and a restaurant on the far side. And it is local HQ for spring breakers during this week in March, who are less than a third as old as we are. But a tiki bar is a tiki bar, and it's 2-for-1 domestic beers and $6 bar bites at happy hour, and 2-for-1 shots of Fireball and Jägermeister, which is the most spring breaky thing I'll say today. Without revealing my age directly, I can tell you that at my last birthday celebration, 76 trombones led the big parade, if you catch my meaning. For a time, we sat aside and watched the annual ritual as if it were a David Attenborough documentary, and then moved along back toward our own herd. On the way to our next bar, we pass a new resident of the Historic Seaport that is, at the very same time, a very old resident. We know Schooner Wharf is called that because this is where the schooners dock. And docking right here is a schooner called Hindu. And it is really an ancient schooner, home at last from a 5-year total renovation up in Maine. Hindu was built in 1925. And so it is now 100 years old. There are a few elegant schooners still taking passengers out of the harbor in spectacular full sail, and Hindu rejoins that exclusive club. Hindu sails Key West November to June and then back to Massachusetts for the summer. It is a work of art. You can share with others a 2-hour sunset sail for $118, or charter the entire boat for a 4-hour morning excursion for up to 42 of your closest friends at a rate of $6,500. Oh, before I forget, we have a task we've assigned ourselves to perform right here beside the next bar. Between the Half-Shell Raw Bar and the Boathouse Bar and Grill, there is a tall milepost displaying the miles distant to many far-off towns. We passed this sign a dozen times, but we never saw anything about our own hometown, so I decided to make up my own, and so we're going to put that up right now. I made the sign from a scrap wooden stake I got at Home Depot for 47 cents. See? All better. Signposting is thirsty work. Let's get to the boathouse. Turtle Crawl is the South African, by way of Portuguese and Dutch name for a pen in the water, a corral, where sea turtles are kept alive before being processed into turtle meat for canning. These pens were right in the water over there up to the 1970s. And Turtle Crawls used to be the name for a very popular bar within view of those doomed turtles. But where Turtle Crawls once was, is now inhabited by the Boathouse, which keeps the memory of the old place alive by calling itself the Boathouse at Turtle Crawls. It used to have a fun upstairs bar called the Tower Bar, with a harbor view, but that was never reopened after Turtle Crawls Bar joined the Turtles as past history. Word is, the long-range plan is to reopen the upstairs, but not until they can install an elevator. The Boathouse is one of the best waterfront bars in Key West. Our fun bartenders were Aaron and Vic. The local readers of the Key West Weekly have voted the Boathouse Best Happy Hour 3 years in a row. Half-price drinks and bar bites from 4 to 6:30. If you fish on a charter out of the harbor, you can step off the boat and give the fish to the Boathouse, and they'll cook it to your order. If you hook it, we'll cook it. Try the key lime coladas. Speaking of key lime, a 6-minute walk from the Boathouse is Kermit's Key Lime Pie Shop. Kermit is his own best ad and is the selfie king of Key West. Unlike another Kermit, this one maintains it is very easy being green. The interior of the pie shop is crammed with all things key lime. Try Kermit's frozen chocolate-covered key lime pie on a stick. It's only a 3-minute walk from Kermit's back to our home bar at the Marker. The hotel bar is actually called the Starboard Bar, but nobody calls it anything other than the Pool Bar. And we coexist here with more spring breakers. And given the price tag of a stay at the Marker and the general price of food and beverages in Key West, these kids' parents must have deep pockets. Despite spring break's reputation as a mating ritual, it is our observation that at least around the pool here, the girls mostly hung out with the girls, and the boys congregated together as a pack. Serving the craft beers and the blender drinks is Carolina, who made serving a horde of spring breakers while chatting with us look easy. Here's a visual of just how close the pool bar is to Schooner Wharf Bar. A passing shower causes Anita to bring out the ponchos, and she carries our blender drinks up to the room and our pillows, because it's an early day tomorrow.
Okay, it's morning, and we have a special visit to make before our first saloon of the day. We are walking down William Street, away from the harbor. On the Waterfront Brewery across the street from the Marker Resort, we pass by the big Florida's Living Reef mural, painted by the one-named marine life artist Wyland, who has painted whales and sea life on walls all around the world. He has a gallery on Duval.
A block away, we turn left onto Eaton Street and pass rows of great Key West cottages. We are on our way to the Box. And this is the Box. Just a box. And its message on its own Instagram page, called The Box Key West, says if you visit the Box, it will make you happy. There are dozens of Instagram photos there of people visiting this box, sitting on it, standing beside it, holding up signs in front of it. Some leave objects on the box. Here we are in the company of the Box, and we are undeniably feeling happy. So I cannot debunk the Box's claim, although our happiness could be enhanced by the proximity of several bars within a stone's throw. What's in the box? Should we ask Justin Timberlake? No, it is marked with a notice from AT&T, warning of underground cables. But I have no idea what's actually inside this box. What I do know is that if you search Google Maps for the Box Key West, it comes right up. Now we turn our backs to the mysterious happiness-inducing box because we are equidistant from two saloons, the Dive Bar T-Shirt Club and Harpoon Harry's. Harry's opens at 6:30 in the morning, and the Shirt Club opens at 11. So common sense directs us to Harry's first. But first, I'm required to play the jingle.
Harpoon Harry's was a lunch and breakfast diner, but now it's super special and a whole lot finer. 'Cause Harpoon Harry's also open up for dinner. Forget about your plans to get a whole lot thinner. Great dinner start at only $8. A full liquor bar for your ills. Awesome shrimp and delicious barbecue. They got meatloaf and sandwiches too. Oh, Harpoon Harry's, great service, food and wine. Harpoon Harry's, Margaret at Caroline. Harpoon Harry's, come on in and unwind.
There are a very few places in Key West that only accept cash and not credit cards, and Harpoon Harry's is one of them. Some reviews call it the best food in town, and it proclaims itself to be the best breakfast in Key West. Breakfast is served all day, including key lime French toast with a piece of key lime pie on top. Your eggs Benedict can come the regular way, or with lobster or crab cakes. Thank you. The motto at Harry's is, if it ain't vodka, it ain't breakfast. And not only can you have a spicy Bloody Harry as an alternative to Mary, the bar has commissioned its own vodka brand called Harpoon Harry's Breakfast Vodka. The place is decked out with memorabilia from the 1970s to the 1990s. Owner Ron Heck's childhood sled hangs on the wall. He's from Detroit. 20 years ago, he acquired two antique harpoons, which are also up on the wall, and give the place its name. It's a place where some night owls who close the late bars in the morning come for food before going home to crash. And don't forget, Harry's doesn't take plastic. Just a 3-minute walk away from Harry's is the Dive Bar Shirt Club. It opens at 11, so it is nice that that is the current time. By the way, sometimes an out-of-the-ordinary rainstorm will flood this part of town, and that happened just 2 weeks ago. Amazing. I got this photo from the bar's Facebook page, but I've seen the photographer credited as both CJ and the Keys and Todd Kirkland. So kudos to whoever it was who waited out to take this picture. But here it is now, all dried out and inviting us in. The slogan here is, lowering the bar since 2008. Old signs and posters of retired t-shirt designs surround a bar with old-timey soda fountain stools. The entire bar menu can be recalled to mind by anybody who's been here once. Ground beef tacos or brisket tacos and burritos, and a side of cheese or salsa. Keith is behind the bar. There are lots of games to play, and random gags abound.
No, let's sit here for.
The bar has Keys brewed beers on tap. I like Crazy Lady, which is brewed by the Waterfront Brewery next to the Marker Hotel, and which is happily found in many bars around town. Here's a mild caveat. The Dive Bar Shirt Club is an actual t-shirt online company that makes and sells t-shirts from actual dive bars all across the country, and it delivers a new one to subscribers every month. So once your phone GPS knows you've been here, expect to see ads for dive bar t-shirts pop up on your Facebook feed for a while. They don't bother me. The more dive bars, the better. And one of those t-shirt designs is for a bar I know near where I live in Palm Beach County. Harry's Banana Farm in Lake Worth Beach. An excellent dive where the sign out front is famous for snarky commentary. But as my sign that I installed on the Key West milepost declares, Harry's Banana Farm is 218 miles from here, and we'll mosey on over to somewhere that's closer. From the Shirt Club, we walk over to the harbor, 3 minutes away, to demonstrate how close it is to where the Yankee Freedom Express and the Key West Express dock when they are not out to sea. Yankee Freedom goes back and forth from here to Fort Jefferson in the Dry Tortugas, and the Key West Express takes passengers to and from Marco Island and Fort Myers. It's not easy finding both boats docked here at the same time, so I visited a couple of times to show them to you. Yankee Freedom takes off at 8 a.m. sharp from the terminal at Flagler Station, near where Henry Flagler's Overseas Railroad delivered passengers a century ago. Key West Express drops off passengers here just before lunch and then picks them up again around dinner time to return back north to Florida's Gulf Coast. About a 3.5-hour trip. Continuing our walk along the seaport, we'll return to a bar we visited before, but it's right over here, and it is our anniversary, you know, and we haven't had any stone crab claws. So please indulge us as we are self-indulgent. Half Shell Raw Bar has a good view of the old Turtle Crawl historic docks. This place used to be a shrimp warehouse until the shrimpers moved to Stock Island, and then it was turned into a restaurant in the 1970s. Here's a model of a shrimp boat, and past the boat is Anita sitting at the bar. The oyster shucker's name is Yin. He also cracked our stone crab. The bartender's name is Casey. Half Shell won the People's Choice Awards for Best Raw Bar in Key West last year. Again. I'd vote for it this year, too. And it also has a very good fish market. If you are so fortunately blessed as to live in Key West, you could call up Half Shell Fish Market and they'll deliver whatever fresh catch you want to your house for free. We exit Half Shell to observe a gaggle of the girls of spring break passing on their way to Dante's straight ahead. From Half Shell, we walk the length of the harbor boardwalk, and along the way, we pass the shrimp boat Miss Key West, which I highlighted on our last trip. And we find the crackerjack shrimper David on deck in the company of the best shrimp boat dog on the seaport, Luna.
Luna the shrimp boat dog. She goes out with us. She has her own Facebook page also. How's it going?
He told us Miss Key West was awaiting a new engine to be installed before it could return to fishing out by the dry Tortugas. And two young women dropped by to gift Luna with a tasty, chewy pig's ear.
Oh my God, Luna!
Luna is beside herself with giddy gratitude.
That is the cutest.
We continue past Miss Key West along the boardwalk to where it ends at a wet slip where the harbor pilot boat docks. Just over where the pilot boat is pulling out on the other side of the slip is the Galleon Resort and its dockside bar called Pirates Cove. Lots of Key Westers fancy themselves pirates, including Captain Tony and Jimmy Buffett, so Pirates Cove fits the anarchistic island vibe. This bar is not visible to most visitors to Key West Bight and is mostly inhabited by galleon guests, and therefore we proclaim it to be a hidden gem. It's rustic and piratey kitschy, but it commands a great view of the docked boats and the harbor breakwater and the Gulf beyond. Anita and I favor wrapping around the corner of a bar, and we score 2 primo bar stools here. Madeline and Susanna are the wenches in charge. A boardwalk wraps around the Galleon Resort leading to the Sunset Tiki Bar we have visited in a past trip, and the view here is worth a minute's walk it takes to arrive at a fishing platform. Since most customers at Pirates Cove are hotel guests, they all have nice bathrooms of their own. And so to those of us needful for such a facility and who are not staying here, our server directed me to a hidden door marked storage room in the garage around the corner. There's a toilet inside. For such a small bar, it seems to have more than its share of ship's wheels on display. Presently, it is time to retrace our route along the boardwalk to where we wrap up our anniversary day. You know we are fans of old weathered bars that flourish in the Keys, and the more ramshackle, the more interesting. So I was going to take you to B.O.'s Fish Wagon, where the Coral Reefer Band used to hang out for cheap eats and beer after a session with Jimmy Buffett at their studio 2 blocks away. But it doesn't count as a bar now, because it no longer serves alcohol, so it's off our list. But it still has a junky charm, and you can grab a beer across the street at Pepe's and bring it back over here to wash down B.O.'s excellent fried grouper sandwiches. But it's our anniversary, so we seek out a more elevated ambiance and arrived right across the street from B.O.'s at Only Wood Grill. There's another upscale steak place a couple of blocks away near Dante's pool bar called Prime Steakhouse, which is clubby, with old-school deep brown wood paneling and marble bar and padded bar stools. But it opens at 5:30, and this place opens at 4:30, and we're hungry now. And I've said it before, but if it's right to do, it's wrong to wait. Only Wood is a nice Italian trattoria, or do you say trattoria, with wood-fired pizzas and steaks and lots of classy Italian dishes at classy prices. I spot a crazy lady pull right in front of my spot at the bar, and I'm happy. Anita goes with a Pinot Grigio. We were going to have grilled fillets, but our stomachs were still content digesting stone crab claws, so we got a pizza. We agreed it was one of the best pizzas we've ever had, and we're from Chicago. Only Wood was runner-up to Rustica for Best Pizza in the People's Choice Awards last year. I would vote for Only Wood when the voting starts this year. And Only Wood is a great choice after a day of bar hopping because it's right next door, a few stumbling steps from our home at the Marker. Day 3. Our first bar this morning is the Breakfast Club 2. If you were writing out the name, you would use all lowercase letters. That's the way they do it. It's called Breakfast Club 2 because there is a Breakfast Club 1 in Lake Placid, New York. And the owner there married a guy who split his time between Key West and the Adirondacks, and that wedding gave birth to their second bar here. A dozen different styles of Bloody Marys and a dozen different styles of mimosas. 5 different styles of Eggs Benedict. It's a genuine bar with a creative sculpture on the back bar wall. And it's only a 4-minute walk from the Marker Hotel. And it opens at 8 in the morning. You should look up the menu on its website because of the pretty pictures that will make you wish to be here. But now we wish to be somewhere else, which is very near the southernmost point, which is a pretty far walk from here. So we will take the free shuttle called the Duval Loop Bus. The bus stops just around the corner from Breakfast Club 2.
Hello.
We can see on our phone app where the bus is and when it's about to arrive where we are. Pretty easy. You just step on and off. No charge. It takes just over 20 minutes for the ride to where we're going, but it's fun just to sit back and look out the window and watch Old Town glide by. After looping around the top of the island, the bus plunges down Whitehead Street toward the southernmost point, but halfway down makes a jog out to the Truman Oceanfront Park. If it was tomorrow, Thursday, we could get off and go to the farmers market they have in the park right over there, Thursday afternoons by the water. On the water, there's a historic Coast Guard ship that earned military accolades for its service in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. It's a museum. Our driver steps away for a potty break, and I step into the park to say good day to the roosters. Then the bus leaves Oceanfront Park and turns toward our stop at Duval Street, just a block from the Atlantic. We're bound for Sky Bar. Sky Bar at the Mansion, one of the newest bars in Key West. It sits at roof level of the Mansion on the Sea Resort at the southernmost end of Duval Street. The mansion was the home of a Key West judge and his wife by the name of Florida Curry. Florida was the daughter of Florida's first millionaire, and her father paid for the building of this mansion, and he paid Thomas Edison to come here and wire it for electricity. And Thomas Edison, while he was here, gifted Florida with one of his own phonographs, and it remains in the lobby. It's just a beautiful place in a beautiful place. It could be said that Sky Bar does set the bar high among Key West bars. The bartender tending this high-up bar is Sam. Sky Bar has panoramic views of the beach below and the deep blue Atlantic Ocean. It was the dream of Michael Harpoon, the owner of the mansion, and after years of planning and designing, it opened last November. And sadly, Michael Harpoon died 2 months later of cancer. A great view of the sea and the pool below, and perhaps a discreet peep into the water view upper level rooms at the mansion if the blinds aren't drawn. I'm going to give you a break now because you have other things to do and there's a ton more stuff to show you. So I'll split up this trip and resume in a part 2 like last time. But here's the tease. From here, we are heading to a saloon that you probably won't have on your bingo card, but it claims the best cheeseburger, so we must investigate. See you on the other side.